Welcome to AI Brief, episode 339. I'm Amin.
And I'm Leah. Today we're doing a deep dive into some developments that are really challenging the way we think about AI's trajectory.
Absolutely. First up, we've got a huge open source release from DeepSeek. It's a mathematical model that's, well, it's achieving gold medal performance.
We'll also break down a pretty serious security incident. It involves OpenAI API user data, but the breach actually happened through a third-party vendor, a crucial story for anyone building on these platforms.
And this was where things get really interesting. We have new research that suggests maybe scale isn't the only way forward, that, bigger is better might be hitting a wall.
And finally, we'll wrap up with a roundup of key news, from corporate moves to trending tools you can try out right now.
All right, let's jump straight in. This DeepSeek news it's pretty big.
It is. They've released DeepSeek Math V2. It's an open source mixture of experts model and MoE, and the performance is just staggering.
Staggering how? Give us the specifics.
Well, it achieved gold medal performance on the IMO 2025 benchmark, solving 5 out of 6 problems.
Okay, that's impressive. But what does that mean in human terms?
The best comparison is the Putnam competition. The model scored 118 out of 120 on the 2024 test.
And what's a top human score?
A top human score is typically around 100, maybe 110. So this open source model is outperforming the best human mathematicians in that specific competition.
Wow. So this isn't just about passing a test. This is elite level reasoning. How are they pulling this off? Is it just a bigger model?
No, actually, it's about the process, not just the scale. It uses something called a generator verifier system.
Okay, break that down. A generator and a verifier.
Think of it like a two-person team. The generator model proposes a mathematical proof, one step at a time. Then the second model, the verifier, acts like a really tough critic.
So it checks the work.
It does more than that. It assigns a confidence score to each individual step of the proof. If it finds a weak link, a logical jump that it's not confident about, it sends it back.
So it forces the first model to rethink its logic.
Exactly. They call it self-debugging reasoning. It's constantly refining its own work.
That seems computationally expensive. 2 models instead of 1.
It is, but the payoff is immense.
Yeah.
This is how you build systems for high-stakes fields, like engineering or financial modeling, where a single logical error can be a catastrophe.
And the most important part is that it's open source.
That's the real game changer. This level of mathematical reasoning was locked away in proprietary labs until now. DeepSeek just handed a blueprint for self-correcting AI to the entire community.
Okay, so from a major win for open source to a critical security warning, let's talk about the OpenAI incident.
Right. We need to be very clear about this one. On November 9th, OpenAI's analytics vendor, a company called Mixpanel, had a security breach.
And this affected OpenAI API users specifically.
Yes. The attacker exported profile information from the API product's front end.
Let's be very specific about what was compromised, and maybe more importantly, what wasn't.
Okay, so what was taken includes names, emails, general locations like city and state, and some device details.
And what wasn't?
Crucially, no chat data, no API keys, no payment information, and no user credentials. And this did not affect general ChatGPT users at all. It was limited to the API product.
So the core systems are safe. The API keys themselves weren't leaked. What's the real danger for the users whose data was exposed?
The immediate threat is social engineering. Very sophisticated, very targeted phishing attacks.
Because the attackers have verified information.
Exactly. They have your name, your email, your city. They can craft a phishing email that looks incredibly legitimate, making it much harder to spot than your typical spam.
It's a stark reminder, then, about third-party risk.
Absolutely. When you integrate any service, even just for analytics, you're effectively inheriting their security posture. This whole incident really underscores the need for vigilance in your entire tech stack.
Okay, that feels connected to our next topic. If security is one side of the coin, efficiency is definitely the other. Let's talk about this new research from NVIDIA and the University of Hong Kong.
Right. This is a fascinating paper because it pushes back directly on that bigger is better ideology that's been driving the industry for the last few years.
The idea that you just need more GPUs, more data, bigger models.
Exactly. This research suggests the next big leap might come from smarter software, from better orchestration rather than just brute force scale.
And their system is called Tool Orchestra. It sounds like a conductor for AI tools.
That's the perfect analogy. They train a special orchestrator model. Its only job is to decide the best way to solve a problem.
So it decides whether to think for itself or to call an expert.
Precisely. It decides when to use its own internal reasoning and when to delegate to a specialized external tool, like a calculator or a code interpreter or a web search.
And they actually tested this against the biggest models out there.
They did, and the results are frankly shocking. They took an 8 billion parameter model, which is tiny by today's standards, and trained it with this tool orchestra system. That 8B model surpassed both GPT-5 and Claude Opus 4.1 on a benchmark called Humanity's Last Exam. It scored 37.1%.
An 8B model beat the frontier models.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But what about the efficiency?
That's the other key part. It was 2.5 times more efficient and significantly faster. The orchestrator was smart. It didn't just overuse the most powerful, expensive tools. It was strategic.
So this really does shift the focus from hardware to software.
It does. It suggests that the next breakthrough won't be the biggest model, but the best conductor, the one that can intelligently coordinate a whole orchestra of smaller, specialized tools. It kind of democratizes access to top-tier performance. You might not need a billion-dollar GPU cluster anymore.
All right, let's transition now to our next segment and cover everything else happening in AI today. We're going to slow the pace down just a bit here to give these updates the space they need.
Starting with some major regulatory news. Anthropic's CEO, Dario Amodei, has been asked to testify before the House Homeland Security Committee.
That hearing is set for December 17th. And it's happening because of the first reported case of an AI-orchestrated cyber espionage campaign. It's a real sign that national security is becoming a primary focus for regulators.
And it's not just him. The CEOs from Google Cloud and Quantum Exchange are also invited, so this is clearly a broad inquiry into the technology's security implications.
Shifting over to products, Perplexity has been rolling out a whole suite of new features.
They're moving well beyond just being an answer engine. They've added AI-powered shopping and even a virtual try-on feature, letting you test clothes on a digital avatar.
That's a clear move into the e-commerce space. But I think the bigger update is persistent memory.
I agree. The assistant can now remember your preferences and past conversations. It adds a layer of personalization that's been missing. If you tell it something once, it'll remember that context for future requests, making it genuinely more helpful over time.
And now let's look at hardware. Alibaba has launched its Quark S1 smart glasses in China.
And they're priced very aggressively, just 1,899 yuan, which is about 268 US dollars. That really undercuts a lot of the Western competition.
What are the specs like?
They're pretty solid. You get micro OLED displays, cameras, bone conduction audio, and even swappable batteries. They're designed to integrate deeply with Alibaba's whole ecosystem, powered by their Qwen large language models.
The ecosystem lock-in is the key there. An international version is apparently planned for next year, but we'll see how that integration plays out in global markets.
I think it shows the future of vertically integrated AI hardware. The device, the model, the software, all from one company.
Let's cover a few key corporate moves now. It feels like everyone is betting on this idea of orchestration and agents.
It really does. Look at Jeff Bezos's stealth AI company, Project Prometheus. It just quietly acquired a startup called General Agents.
General agents, the name says it all. What exactly is agentic computing?
It's about building autonomous systems. These aren't just chatbots that respond to you. They're AI agents that can take on a multi-step goal, use tools, and work independently to achieve it without constant human input.
Which makes perfect sense of the other big partnership we saw this week.
You mean Cohere and SAP?
Right. Cohere is bringing its agentic AI platform north to SAP's entire cloud infrastructure. They're embedding that autonomous layer directly into the software that runs so much of the global economy.
It all connects back. If orchestration beats scale, then the companies building these agentic systems, these conductors, are the ones to watch.
And finally, a quick legal update. OpenAI had a bit of a setback in that copyright lawsuit from the authors.
A pretty significant one. A judge ruled that they have to turn over internal communications about the deletion of 2 specific datasets, which allegedly contained pirated books.
And having those internal communications could really help the authors prove willful copyright infringement. It gives them a window into intent, not just action.
It's a major development in that case.
All right, let's wrap up with a quick look at the tools that are really trending right now, the ones showing immediate practical utility.
We've picked out a few you should definitely be keeping an eye on.
First, we have to mention Perplexity again. As we said, it's so much more than a search engine now, with that virtual try-on for shopping and the persistent memory making it a true assistant.
Next is DeepSeek's Math V2. Now that it's open source, any developer can start building with that gold medal level reasoning. That is a huge unlock for the whole community.
Also seeing a lot of buzz around a tool called Stories from Character AI. It's an interactive experience that's specifically designed for kids.
And in the visual space, FLU X.2 from Black Forest Labs, it's a new visual intelligence model that's getting a lot of attention.
We should also mention Notion AI. It just keeps trending because it's so deeply embedded in how people work, helping with notes, search, and building out complex workflows.
There's also Touchpoint, a tool for creating designer-quality email templates with AI, and Sideconvo, which is an on-site AI agent that uses voice and text to help website visitors.
Two more really interesting ones. Karumi, which is a platform for creating personalized live video product demos that are available 24/7 in any language.
And finally, Masonry. It's a single tool for creating new images, making short videos, swapping styles, and cleaning up shots. A really versatile creative tool.
And that wraps up our deep dive. We've covered the democratization of elite-level math, a crucial security lesson about third-party risk, and a fundamental challenge to the scale is everything mindset.
The clear theme this week is that the race for AI dominance seems to be shifting. It's moving away from who has the biggest hardware stack and towards who can build the smartest software conductor.
Which leaves an important question for you to think about. If orchestration and agentic systems really are the future, who is better positioned to win the next decade? Is it the giant companies building monolithic models or the nimble startups building the best conductors?
That's the thought we'll leave you with. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. Be sure to follow and share the show.
See you in the next deep dive.